We're joined here by legendary basketball coach at New Bedford High School, Ed Rodrigues. 25 years since the Whalers won that big state championship back in 1993. Today, the first of a three-part series. And Eddie, does it feel like 25 years?
Yeah, everything goes by so fast. It seems like yesterday in many respects. It just brings back great memories when all these things were coming back to me. People were talking about it, and it was just so much fun.
Well, I'll tell you, I know you coached for a long time and you had an influence on so many kids. But, of course, that year that you won the state championship, there were a lot of obstacles to overcome. I know you had Skip Karam over there. You had the Durfee tradition. They were kind of like the Yankees and we were like the Red Sox. They kind of won and we couldn't get over the hump. We were kind of like the Chicago Cubs and all that. And to have to play them and beat them in that South Sectional Final game, I mean, that was quite a challenge.
It was a challenge, and it's a tough enough game as it is. It's the South Finals, and then you throw on top of it Durfee, the big rival, who, like I said, you alluded to the fact that we had done really well, but we hadn't gotten over that mark to be a state champion. And then here we got to get by these guys again just to get to that next round.
Right. Well, I hate to bring it up, but some wise guy came up with that semifinal ad thing.
Greg Parker.
Right,
He's a good friend of mine, Greg Parker.
Semifinal
ad. We had been in that game, I think in the 12 years, like 9 or 10 times, ridiculous amount, which is a great accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, right.
But we just couldn't get over that hump. And then finally we got over the hump of the semifinals, and then we got Durfee in the finals. And obviously this was a tremendous win if we could get by them.
Well, New Bedford got off to a big lead. Durfee came rushing back and made it really interesting. Let's take a look at some of the vintage footage that we dug up in the Santos on Sports cellar. Let's take a look.
Stolen. Wills goes up. Wills gets 2. 9 points for Marcus Wills. 17-10 Whalers. Stolen by Wills. They dish it back and forth to each other. And Marcus Wills gets 2. And the foul. Helps him win. Marcus Wills tries to go baseline. He'll spin for the nice move. Marcus Wills with 15 now. And we're only about 6 minutes into the half.
One thing about
John Jones plays it back to Chrissy. He'll penetrate. He's clobbered on the way in. And New Bedford the outlet pass. TJ Godin to Mike Rocha. Rocha to Wills. Back to Rocha. Great move. And Rocha gets 2. South Sectional Final from UMass Boston. Marcus hits the 3. New Bedford's game plan. Long bomb. Matt Poitras, the NBA 3. But he knows that he's got to pass it to the open man, and it's going to be killing him. But here comes Chris now. Chris goes up for 2, and now Herron with 7. Chris Herron brings the Durfee Hilltopper fans to their feet. He wants the basketball. This game is definitely living up to its billing. Chrissy all the way across the other way. A 3-point basket for Jeff Karam. Jeff Karam with 3 3-point field goals, 18 points.
New Bedford has to come back now.
52-45. Durfee has cut it down to 7 shots. Jeff Karam can't get it. New Bedford the rebound. Marcus Wills saved by Herron. Herron takes the 3. Yes! Takes it baseline. And tremendous. Chris Herron with 13 points, 61-56. Peter Pavo brings down the rebound. Jeff Karam can't get the roll. Rebound Dan Callahan. They get the roll. Karam on the other side. 21 points for him. Durfee is within 3. 61-58 now. New Bedford hanging on to a 3-point lead.
All right, so New Bedford's up 20 points in the first half, right? And here comes Durfee, and the crowd starts getting into it. And Skip Karam's on the other side, and Chris Herron's on the other side. And we're thinking, uh-oh, is it going to slip away?
Yeah, I mean, we had a tendency at times to get leads and then squander them a little bit, but then straighten it out and then win the games. And there again, we knew Durfee was going to make a run. They were too good a team. They had Chris Herron, a phenomenal player, obviously, and it was just a matter of time before they made that run. But, we held on. Mike Rocha hit 2 big shots down the stretch, and that was a relief and obviously a satisfying win.
This one's going right down to the bitter end, and that would be appropriate. Rocha wants to take the 3. Gutsy! Mike Rocha nails it!
And Paul, it couldn't have come at a better time for the New Bedford Whalers.
What guts! A 6-point lead Rocha nails it.
Well, everybody has a certain moment that they can kind of point to, maybe somebody hit a big shot here, maybe somebody came through in the clutch there. With you, it was the South Sectional Final game against arch rivals Durfee on the way to the state championship. It's late in the game. Durfee comes charging back, and all of a sudden you get the ball and you take these two big threes and you hit both of them. What happened there?
Yeah, well, just before there was a timeout, and the assistant coach, Mike Correa, had actually told me that you better make sure that if you're open, you take the shot. So I was open, and I took the shot.
Smart move, bouncing it right off his chest. He knew he was going to go out of bounds.
No doubt, too, that Ed Rodrigues, Paul, is trying to work the clock.
Rocha nails the three. Mike Rocha back-to-back bombs. And New Bedford by 7. And that's it. The New Bedford Whalers are the South Sectional champions in 1992-93. They take down their arch rivals from Durfee 80-62. And the Whalers are celebrating. Take a look at Mike Rocha knocking down those 2 threes at the end. That had to be a key as well down the stretch.
Yeah, Mike was telling me before the game, I'm not missing. He said he wasn't missing, and he did it in the stretch.
What were you feeling when you were going up for those threes?
Well, a couple I didn't hit at the beginning, they were right there, and I knew sooner or later they were going to fall. I have a lot of confidence in my shot. I practice all the time. I had nothing but confidence on those 2 shots. I knew they were going down.
So at the end of the day, they fortunately went in, and it was an electric atmosphere. I mean, I think that it's hard to really put into words what it's like to play at one of those Durfee New Bedford games, because there's just people couldn't get into the gym.
This team just stuck together. It's got a lot of heart. We've played together all year long. We've had a great season. And, this is a great experience. Everybody's just played as one unit. Instead of being 5 individuals, it's just one team this year.
I see Mike Rocha, Dr. Rocha, the wellness thing and all that. And then when I get that clip of him hitting those threes, it's just a young high school kid, I mean, it was just fun to look back and see that.
Well, I'm sure that kids that have him as a doctor don't realize that he was a basketball player. They probably don't look at Mike as the basketball player, but he was a very good player for us. Very good point guard, nice shooter, tough as nails, good under pressure, and obviously hit those 2 big shots.
Coach Rodrigues was talking about Mike Rocha, and he's like, hey, maybe some of your patients are looking at Mike Rocha and saying, yeah, you played basketball? What does he mean? I think you could have easily played basketball.
Well, there's a story when we were at the State House. So Billy Bulger was the president of the Senate, and he actually made a comment when we were up there, and he said, you look a little short to be a basketball player. And I looked at him, I gave him Mark Twain's line. I said, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And, I know I didn't get gifted with great height, but, I think that I enjoyed playing basketball at New Bedford High School. It was a great experience with a wonderful team.
We are with the victorious head coach, Ed Rodrigues of the New Bedford Whalers. I read in the paper semifinal, Ed. I don't know. I think it might be Boston Garden, Ed, now.
Well, I hope this is a new fad we're starting down there. But, 8 times I've been in this South Sectional semis. We've only gotten to the finals twice. And even though I feel I'm a successful coach, this makes me feel successful now. I mean, we really earned this victory, and we really earned this trip to the Garden, and we're ecstatic about it.
You take a look at Mr. Rocha, those 2 big 3-point shots, that really put New Bedford over the top.
I'll tell you what, probably of all the kids on the team, he's probably the most intense, hardest worker, and if there's one kid that really deserves to make those shots, it's Michael Rocha, and I couldn't be happier for him.
Durfee Hilltoppers closing it to within 62-59, and I saw you standing on the sidelines for a couple of their comebacks where you're thinking, oh no, not Braintree.
Well, I'm trying to coach the game, but that's always in your mind. Hey, we were very positive in our timeouts. We were very positive with the team. We're not losing this game, fellas. We are not losing this game, and they responded like champions.
New Bedford now moves on, of course, to the Eastern Massachusetts final game against Salem at the Boston Garden. Looking forward to stepping on the parquet.
It's a thrill of a lifetime as a coach and a player, and you know, I mean, obviously we want to get to the Garden and win, but, you know, we're just so pleased to be able to play there. That's a once-in-a-lifetime thrill for a kid.
Ed, keep up the good work, and congratulations on a tremendous win.
Thank you very much.
It was like double pressure type of game, you know, the South Sectional Championship plus you're playing your arch rival. And, you know, we were as confident as they were going in, but, hey, they played a great game. They got off to a flying start, and we put ourselves in a big hole, and we could never, you know, we tried to bounce back. We almost came back, but not enough. Come back the way we did, I was very proud of the kids. You know, we could have packed it up at halftime. But when we were down 20, we could have packed it. We just kept bouncing back. And a couple of missed shots when we were down 4. You never know what could happen, but we never recovered from that. And the young Rocha boy hit the 3-pointers, 2 3-pointers, and just completely buried us.
All right, so when you first started coaching, right, you and Skip Karam, I mean, he was like the old, you know, elder statesman, and you were the young punk whippersnapper kind of guy, you know. Didn't get along too good at the beginning, but then it grew into like a respect. Tell me about that.
Well, you have to remember now, he's been around for many, many years, extremely successful. And, you know, I'm this young guy, 26 years old, and I don't respect anybody, to be honest with you.
A little brash, huh?
Right, a little brash, a little bit maybe over the top. And we beat them my first 6 times we played them. That didn't sit too well with them. And then finally, in 1984, they beat us by 1 at New Bedford, and then beat us by about 1,000 at Durfee, and they ended up being the state champion. And then time went on. It was just an intense hatred for each other at a time, and then it got better and better. And then his father passed away. I went to the funeral, and I think it brought a new light on everything. Like, you know, it's important, these games, but this is what's really more important.
Of course.
And then we respected each other because we're going through the same things at different ends.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so, you know, it was tough sometimes. Both towns, cities wanted to beat each other. But you know what I miss? I wish that would really get back like that. I guess the other day it was kind of like that, the game. And that was phenomenal. I mean, I look forward to those games.
We are back with post-game festivities here from UMass Boston. The New Bedford Whalers knocking out the Durfee Hilltoppers for the South Sectional Championship, and one of the big New Bedford stars right here, Marcus Wills. We have him unofficially at 33 points, and Marcus, just a sensational first half. You guys came out like gangbusters. Certainly the key to the game, building up that big lead, although they came back in the second half. The big lead real important right from the beginning.
Yeah, well, the beginning of the game, everybody had funny feelings. They're saying this could be a blowout. We was having real good practices, and this team is a team. What do you call a team? That's what you call a team right here.
Take a look at the Durfee Hilltoppers 2 games in a row earlier on in the state tournament. Durfee Hilltoppers came back to knock out a couple of teams. It was starting to look like they were going to give the New Bedford a run for it, but you guys held it at the end. How did that happen? How were you guys able to hang on when they were coming at you?
Oh, you got to have patience. You got to be calm. It's pressure. It's all pressure. And if you could deal with the pressure, then you'll be all right.
Matt Poitras with 15 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Just a great game for the New Bedford Whalers. What was the difference today for the New Bedford Whalers against Durfee?
We played aggressive defense, didn't commit any stupid fouls, and our defense converted to offense, put a lot of points early.
Why were you able to get off to such a great start like that? Both teams certainly had a lot of energy coming in, but yet you guys were able to get that run. Why is that?
Aggressive defense. We knew Chris Karam was going to try and take over the game. We didn't let him dominate, control the defensive rebounds, and we got easy baskets off the defense.
Some people say that Chris Herron is one of the best players that's ever played in southeastern Massachusetts. We had our guy over here in New Bedford, Marcus Wills, a real good New Bedford team, of course. I mean, being able to get by Chris Herron, that was not easy.
No, he's a phenomenal player. He's big, strong, athletic. You know, obviously, you know, he played in the NBA, and we had a better overall team. Marcus Wills was obviously a very good player in his own right too, and so you know, we knew that wasn't going to be easy. Even though we had that lead, I said, wait, this kid's going to roll over? Come on, he's going to come back at us. And he did, and unfortunately we won.
All right, well, coming up in part 2 of our installment, 1993, a basketball season to remember, the Whalers go to the Garden.